Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Nerd Overload, your favorite pop and geek culture show that's missing out on some prime Stardew Valley time to be here, so...
Oh, I gotta water my crops.
Yeah. I'm not at the bottom of the mine yet, and I gotta get there.
You gotta get there. Yeah, well, I'm Sam.
I'm Cody, and can I interest you in any of these fine cauliflowers?
All right, so we have a fantastic show for you this week. We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff, a bunch of movie trailers. We're going to be talking about some stuff going on with Kotaku. We've been talking about some stuff having to deal with AI stuff. I don't know. We'll get into all...
Maybe Beetlejuice will show up.
Okay, we can only say his name 2 more times.
Or he will, yeah.
Or he will appear. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants a bad Beetlejuice impression to appear.
Oh, see, now you used another one.
Oh, there's another one. Okay, yeah. But first, let's get into some things we have been checking out.
Check it out!
All right, so you know what? I'm going to take the bull by the horns. I'm taking the reins. Here we go. So there is a popular brand new show.
Say one of us has to, otherwise it's dead air.
It's dead air for an hour, which, depending on the week, might be
the better choice.
Might be the better choice. No,
it's a great choice. Everyone loves it.
Everybody loves it. Everybody who listens loves it. No, so there's a new show on Disney Plus. You might be aware, brand new. It's a cartoon. Very big, fan of it and everything. Just came out. So what I'm going to talk to you today about is Homeboys in Outer Space.
Oh. Because I did watch the one that you were leading me to believe.
Yes,
and I was excited that maybe we were going to be able to talk
about the same thing. No. Why would I watch a good thing that people love when instead I can watch an old UPN sitcom from the late 90s called Homeboys in Outer Space?
I've never heard of this.
No one has. Yeah. No one has. And yet they had 21 episodes.
That's a lot.
And I watched the first couple episodes, and I mean, it is about what you'd expect from a show called Homeboys in Outer Space. It is definitely of the ilk of, like, you remember Malcolm and Eddie, what's his name from Malcolm Jamal Warner from The Cosby Show, and Eddie Griffin had a sitcom.
No.
It is what I would say urban comedy, I guess, would be putting it lightly, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably how they would have advertised it.
That's how they would have advertised it, yeah. So this is a equal parts Star Wars, Star Trek, a 2-camera sitcom. It feels like a sketch from Kenan and Kel.
That's not great praise.
It's not. It's 2 hapless losers who fly around in space. They call themselves soldiers of fortune, but they do meaningless tasks. They go collect things for people for money, and they fly around space in what they call the space hoopty.
I was wondering if that was the terminology they were going to use.
It is, in fact, called the space hoopty, and when it flies through space, it's very primitive CGI for all the space shots. All the sets look like 60s Star Trek on planet shots, like a lot of Ayers Rock or like sets to look like Ayers Rock. But no, the when they fly through space, it is. So remember in Spaceballs where they had the Winnebago that was just a Winnebago with wings?
Yeah.
So this is a lowrider with wings that bounces as it flies through space. There is a
seems a little on the nose, but okay.
It's on the nose would be the term for the show. If there is a low-hanging fruit for a joke, they're going to take it. Some of the highlights, and I put highlights in quotes here, they have an onboard computer, and this does, sadly, it feels a little more Star Wars-y now that the Solo, a Star Wars movie, is out, because their onboard ship's computer is a sassy lady named LaQuisha, who has a personality that is almost exactly the droid from Solo, a Star Wars movie, whose AI was loaded to the Millennium Falcon.
I still have never seen Solo.
Okay, you're not missing out on much, but so in Solo there is a droid who is a sassy droid who is in love with Lando and hates Han Solo. In Homeboys in Outer Space, there is their on-screen computer that is just a CRT monitor with someone talking like Max Headroom style.
Nice.
Who is in love with one of the pilots.
The titular Homeboys.
Loves one of the homeboys, hates the other homeboy. Voice actor Kevin Michael Richardson has a rare on-screen appearance as essentially a Klingon, who is also one of the homeboys' brothers-in-law. And of course, they don't get along. You know that. You know it. They don't,
because it is a sitcom at heart.
It is this is a sitcom. This is one of the most sitcom-y sitcoms I've seen. One of the few white actors in the show is Stuntcast, of course. He is the mechanic who used to work for a big federation, but is now down on his luck. His name is Pippin, and he's played by James Doohan.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Also, his name's Pippin because on Star Trek, his name was Scotty. Scotty Pippin.
Okay.
So there are jokes.
That's pretty good.
There are jokes.
You really have to go. You have to really walk. You
have to walk it. You have to take a walk. But once you get there, there are. I would be lying if I said that I didn't crack a smile once or twice while watching it. It is not laugh out loud funny. I don't recommend people watching it. It's not good, but. It's
an interesting curiosity.
It absolutely is, and it almost feels like the creators were like, we have some money that we want to blow. Let's just put on a show. It actually feels like what people thought the Orville was going to be.
Huh?
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have the Family Guy cutaways or what have you, but when you go, okay, Seth MacFarlane's making a comedy Star Trek show, what's it going to look like? Well,
Captain Fat Farts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Those kind of jokes. That's what this is.
Man, the Orville is so good.
Orville's so good.
So good.
I wish they made more of it. I wish it kept going. But no. But the stuff he's been doing with the TED show has actually been pretty good.
You can thank Disney for that one.
Well, yeah. But no, Homeboys in Outer Space.
I mean, since you teased X-Men 97,
let's talk about X-Men 97.
I talk about it a little bit. I've fully digested both episodes that they released, and they are great. They're amazing.
I've been really wanting to check them out. See, my problem is a lot of my media consumption time is done during downtimes at work, and I have found that if I want to actually pay attention and enjoy things, I can't do it while I'm at work. I've tried a couple things and I have to watch trash while I'm at work.
This is absolutely worth the 40 minutes or whatever it takes to watch both these.
Good.
It stays true to the feeling of the original show while also elevating it a little bit so it's not as dumb.
Okay, well, it needed to. It's pretty dumb.
The original show is pretty dumb.
It's pretty dumb, but it also followed a lot of comic storylines pretty close to it, I thought. But no, that's good. That's good. I've seen people get upset about Gambit's cut off midriff shirt.
Yeah, his
crop top.
His crop top, which is ridiculous.
It's the 90s. That's 100% Gambit.
One, it takes place in the 90s. Two, it's Gambit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, all the characters are true to how you would expect them from the original show.
Good.
I mean, the voice acting is a little different, but also everyone
they kind of had to.
Everyone from the original show is either a lot older than they were then and out of the game for a while, or they had to recast.
Yeah.
But none of it is.
It's not jarring. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the writing is really, really good. The X-Men are flying around punching bigots in the face and yelling about tolerance they should be.
That's the X-Men. Yeah, that's exactly it. Well, good. I'm glad it's good. I've seen shots of Magneto's updated costume.
He looks cool.
He looks really cool. Yeah, he had that look in the comics for a short while. I think back in the late 90s.
Professor X is bald, and Magneto has glorious old man white hair.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Of course. Have they added to the cast any? Have they brought in any like surprise like characters that?
I mean, they brought some characters that were side characters originally as part of the main cast and like added them to the theme, like Bishop,
right,
and Morph.
Okay, yeah, cool. And they changed Morph to look more like his comics. He doesn't look like a dude anymore. He's just like a blobby man, right?
Yeah, and he's constantly turning into other characters that kind of wink and nod at the audience in a fun way.
Good.
Like he turns into Lady Deathstrike once, and it threw me off because I'm like, what, is Lady Deathstrike's here? No.
No,
it was
Morph. Okay.
And like Psylocke and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Nice. This one truly is for you, Morph.
Yeah. The fight scenes are rad.
Mm-hmm.
There's one with Cyclops where he's like using his optic blast to push himself around during the fight.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, and people are like going, what do you mean he could do that? Cyclops has always had concussive beams.
Yeah.
They're not heat vision.
It's not heat vision. It's a
punch
push.
laser.
Yeah.
He has a punch laser from his eyes. That's what it is. But yeah.
And then there's another one where they're fighting in the desert and Storm is shooting lightning around, turning the desert to glass, and it's so cool.
Nice. And it's Mohawk Storm, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And the animation actually looks good. Like you can tell it's like the same kind of like CG that like What If uses.
Oh, okay.
But the characters actually have like colorful and fun designs and are animated in a way that hides it a lot better.
Okay, good.
Than What If, because What If is a good show, but the animation is so boring.
It kind of lets it down a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't make use of the fact that it is animated.
Right.
It's just so grounded and boring that
they're using it as a cost cutting instead of instead of playing with the medium.
Yeah, instead of using the strengths of the medium to tell a better story, they're just puppeting the actors cheaply.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad it's good. I am looking forward to sitting down and
that's why I won't get into the plot in depth any.
Yeah. Well, I mean it's X-Men, so I'm imagining some people don't like the X-Men despite them doing good things.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering right, from the end of the 5th season, Professor X is either dead or has been taken to space.
He's dead.
He's dead?
As far as we know right now, he's dead.
Because I think...
He's been dead, actually.
Okay, because I think I don't believe this is a spoiler because it's in the final episode of a show that was on 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But I believe the X-Men thought he was dead, but Lilandra of the Shi'ar Empire actually took him to space to get him space healed. So Professor X might show back up at some point. I wouldn't be surprised anyway.
Yeah.
Or if they just retcon it and say, no, he actually died. That would be fine as well.
I mean, as far as we know from the very start of the first episode, he was assassinated by, I forget the guy's name. Is it Trask? No, it's not Trask.
Trask is the guy who made the Sentinels.
Yeah, and he's in that first episode.
Yeah.
But he was assassinated by some jerk.
Okay, gotcha. Probably someone from the Mankind Liberation Front or something like that.
Friends of Humanity.
Friends of Humanity, that's the other one. Graydon Creed.
That might be it.
Sabretooth's, in the show's continuity, Sabretooth's human son who hates mutants. And they just made it Sabretooth's son because they got the same voice actor to do it twice. Yeah.
Hey, if Sabretooth was your dad too, you probably wouldn't have a good.
I wouldn't care for
mutants
if I had a evil Wolfman to be my dad, I guess. I don't know. So the other thing that I tried watching, again, this is going to be the shortest of check 'em outs. I got about 5 minutes into this documentary that everyone's been talking about.
Oh, the Nickelodeon
the Nickelodeon one. Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Children's Television. I got about 5 minutes into it while at work and said, I need to devote actual time to this.
I was thinking about putting this on when I get home.
It's not going to be a good watch. It's not
No.
going to be a fun watch, but I've seen some really interesting things come out from it. It sounds like, and I mean, kind of knew some of this stuff was kind of awful to begin with, because the guy who was in charge of the live action Nickelodeon's
Dan Schneider
was an alleged creep. And because I haven't continued to watch, I haven't watched the show yet, and whatnot, I still have to say alleged, even though it seems
pretty
much a done deal, but technically legally alleged. Yeah, so I am interested in watching it.
Me too.
But I need to sit and...
I'll probably watch it when I get home.
Yeah. It's like 4 episodes long, I think, and it's also kind of telling, I guess, who they end up interviewing, because there are some that are kind of left out of the interview process.
The only thing that gives me pause about it is that it's a Discovery documentary, and
they're usually sensationalist,
sensationalist and crappy, but like
on the flip side, this Dan Schneider guy ruined Amanda Bynes. He ruined a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, allegedly.
But
yeah,
allegedly. Also, weird about feet stuff.
Yeah. There's tweets to back that one up.
But also, do you remember when the Nickelodeon logo was a big orange foot for a while?
Yeah.
Apparently that was him.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, we'll probably come back with more.
We will talk more
one.
about that next week, or in our next episode.
And I want to say real quick, since we mentioned it up top, the new Stardew Valley update came out.
Yes.
And it's very, very good.
I am probably going to start that here this evening a little bit.
It's been a long time since I've played it, so it's kind of hard for me to parse exactly what is different and what's not. I know the missions the quests you get in town from the notice board. Now, sometimes some of them will give you a little ticket.
Oh.
And you can take the little ticket to the mayor's house, and he's got a little gift machine in there.
Oh, nice.
And you get a little prize.
Okay, cool.
And I like that.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of videos of people being like, hey, what's new? What's this? Not that I want spoilers, but just because I want to be able to go and say, same situation. It's been a while since I've played it. I want to go and go, okay, that is old, that is new, what extra stuff. But it's really interesting.
Such a good game.
Yeah. So Stardew Valley is a city and farming sim kind of situation, or farm life
like
sim.
a rural life simulator, but also it's
very charming.
Yeah,
it's very charming. It's very fun. It's not realistic in any way, because there's like monsters, and there's dungeons to fight in and stuff like that. But there's also, you can just grow your crops.
Yeah, a lot of
sell
time
your crops
management.
and get to become friends with everybody in town, and
yeah, it's a great time waster, and it's one of those games where you get caught in its loop so much that it's very difficult.
It has
to
a very
quit.
satisfying loop.
Yeah, like you just keep going, well, one more day, because if I do this, then that'll be done, and then I can do that.
And the next thing you know, 4 hours have gone by.
Yeah.
4 real world hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. I've been waiting for this drop for quite a while, so that's cool.
Other than that, I've been playing around with the Tomb Raider remasters that came out here recently.
Okay.
They're very good, with the caveat that you like the original Tomb Raiders, because they're barely different.
Okay.
Like, the graphics are up-res and the textures look nicer, and Lara Croft doesn't have cone boobs anymore.
0 out of 10.
But you can push the start button at any time, and it converts back to exactly how the original game looked.
10 out of 10.
Which I love remasters that do that.
Yeah, so you can flip back and forth.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where you'll see something and you'll be like, I wonder what that looked like originally, and now you can just switch back and see like it was a goofy sprite.
For some reason, and I'm probably wrong, but did the Crash Bandicoot remasters do that as well?
No, it didn't, and I wish they did.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, that's cool. That's cool that it's good.
Yeah, but if you didn't like Tomb Raider before, you're not gonna like. This isn't going to do anything to change your mind, because it still very much plays exactly the same.
Sure.
it offers modern controls, but I found them to be not good because
especially if you're used to the original controls.
yeah,
you know.
Well, there's a lot of precise movement and platforming in Tomb Raider that the modern controls don't let you do quite as well.
I see.
Because the original controls are tank controls. Like you got to turn around and move little bits at a time to line up jumps. The modern controls don't give you the same like
precision.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I tried them once inside the little tutorial, Croft Manor tutorial, and I was like, this doesn't work. And I haven't turned them back on, and it's been fine.
Okay, cool. Another thing I've been doing, I've been watching. So I've been watching a lot of the old Dropout and College Humor branded shows. I don't know if I've talked about this in previous weeks or not. I honestly cannot remember.
I think so.
I might have mentioned them,
bit.
but I've been digging a little deeper into it, and they're fun. They're just good, kind of cozy, kind of fun shows. So I've been watching 3 different shows from their network. One of them is called Actually. It's actually, I think, might be my favorite one of the bunch.
We definitely talk
about that one. That's the game show where they do a quote, they do a statement, but one thing is slightly wrong. I've thought about cribbing that for an episode coming up, for pitting you and Josh against each other.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, I might do that. Some week when we don't have a lot of news, I might do something like that.
We should do more games.
I think so too.
On this show.
I agree. But speaking of games, the second one I've been watching is called Game Changer. It's hosted by the guy who owns Dropout.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's Sam Reich. Sam Reich is the guy.
The whole thing.
He is the managing CEO of Dropout. He actually bought the brand from College Humor when they let everybody go. And the whole conceit of Game Changer is it's a game show where the rules are different every single episode. So you have one episode where, and all the contestants are, or most of the contestants are people in the industry. A lot of times it's folks who actually are comedians that do stand up, do improv for the Dropout network. So it's a lot. So you get a lot of the same people over and over, but that's fun that you get to see their personalities and stuff.
Yeah.
So like one episode, he'll trick them into wearing, say for example, heart monitors, and the goal is don't go 20 beats per minute above your resting heart rate. And for 30 minutes, he is doing all these weird tricks to try to trick them to get their heart rate up. And then the next episode could be Sam Says, where they play a giant game of Simon Says, but they are extremely tricky. Like at one point, he gets through the entire episode, and the 3 contestants, 3 comedians, they seem kind of beaten down. He's like, you know what? The show's over. Last thing Sam says, go to the parking lot. They go out there. There's a party bus. He's bought a party bus for them to go party on, and he's treating it as though the show's over. This is the end. This is it. So they get back to the studio after this party bus, and he goes, oh, by the way, you did this, this, and this while on the bus. Didn't say Sam Says. You lose X amount of points, because he's been videotaping them on the party bus. Like one of the ones was like, stop what you're doing. When someone says freeze, while on the party bus, someone is going, is it cold in here? I'm freezing. Is it really? They did like 2 or 3 times. So they got points deducted for that. And you just see the soul leave these 3 stand-up comedians. It's very cool. And the third one I've been watching is it's actually an older one that was done. It's a precursor to Drawfee, believe it or not.
Oh,
it's
they used to be
Cartoon Hell. Yeah, Cartoon Hell with Nathan Yaffe and Caldwell Tanner, I think, the 2 guys that originally created the Drawfee, which is a big YouTube thing now.
They started it after they got axed from College Humor.
So the way it works, they were, if I'm remembering right, they were artists that did meme drawings for College Humor, that then started streaming their morning warm-ups and called it your morning cup of Drawfee instead of morning cup of coffee. Drawfee kind of kept going and going. And then when College Humor fired everyone, Drawfee went and started their own thing and then the Dropout folks did their own thing. So it kind of split there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. And they were both equally, large stuff. But no, it's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Cool.
Yeah. So, all right, let's take a break, and then we will talk about some cool stuff.
Long play promo, take 23.
Hi, I'm Greg Dunham. Sam, what is my motivation for this spot?
Well, this is a promo for your show Long Play. You want to invite listeners to tune in every Friday evening at 11 and Saturday afternoon at 3. You want to remind everyone that you play full albums front to back right here on 104.7 WZMO.
Got it. So this is an informational tutorial.
Sure. Long play promo, take 24.
Hi, I'm Craig Durgan.
Cut. I think we got it.
We have returned from sabbatical to talk on some news topics.
Excellent work.
We do English good.
We do English so good. It's funny because off mic we were talking about, I've been going through and listening back and editing a bunch of old episodes for a little project I'm working on, and I say the same words every week. Seriously, go back and listen to some of the episodes of the podcast. How many times does Sam say, "Hey folks, we're back from the break, let's get into some news"? Every single week.
Hey, it works.
I guess if it works.
Don't fix what isn't broken.
Exactly,
I
I suppose. So yeah, let's get into some things. What is the first thing we're going to be talking about here this afternoon?
Well, there's a little movie about a ghost man and this girl he hangs out with, and his name.
Tell me more.
His name's Beetlejuice.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, that was the third time.
It's the third time. He said it.
He's here.
Here we are.
Beetlejuice is here.
Here we are. I'm back. I'm back in the theaters.
For your first sequel.
First sequel. That's right.
We're just gonna interview Beetlejuice here, I guess.
I guess we are. Gonna lean heavy into this.
So what was it like being back in front of the camera for the first time in 30 years?
Sweaty.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So we only got one line in this trailer.
It's not my best. Is what I'll say.
I thought it was pretty funny. You got to laugh out of me.
I worked with the editing house for this trailer, but they didn't do a good job with it. It didn't look like.
No, I think it falls into a lot of tropes that a lot of modern day trailers do.
I have a lot of history with editing videos. In my lifetime, I've been working on my YouTube.
Oh
yeah. You know.
Like and subscribe, Bell.
Like and subscribe, baby.
All right, now that bit's dead. Bit's over.
Yep, that wasn't going anywhere.
That was going nowhere. We are not improv. No, but there is a trailer for the Beetlejuice movie, Beetlejuice 2, or I guess it's being called Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
Yes, which is pretty clever.
Which
I like
makes
that
me
a lot.
super hope that they do a third one, so that it's called Beetlejuice.
Oh, you did it again.
Oh no!
Let's do bad
he's back.
Let's do bad improv
Oh
for
god, let's do another bad
3
improv
minutes.
for a minute. Yeah, my tight five.
We should take
my Beetlejuice themed tight five.
We should all take an improv class someday.
I think so. Yes, actually. This trailer, it looks fine.
Yeah, it's not enough to
Get anything from.
yeah.
But it already I hate it. I hate this trend with films, especially ones that are sequels to things that have been dead properties for a number of years.
You could argue that Beetlejuice was always a dead property.
Well, you could argue that. That's very true. Very good. I like that. But no, it's properties that do a trailer to try to show that it's mature and it's grown up and it's grown with you. They take a popular song or something, a song that was attributed to to the first property, and they slow it down and play it in a minor key to make it sound menacing and sad.
Even the Mario Brothers movie did this.
Didn't need that. The Ghostbusters Afterlife,
yeah,
and especially the Frozen Empire or whatever, the new one,
which apparently sucks on ice.
Really?
Heard.
Oh, that's a shame. Well,
it's got a hot 45 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not great.
Ooh, that's rough. That's rough.
I saw a tweet from somebody on Twitter, I can't remember who it was, saying they saw their neighbors come home from seeing it and they had dressed up like Ghostbusters to go, clearly huge fans.
Yeah.
And they asked, well, how was the movie? And both of them responded in unison, terrible.
You know, it's almost like the first Ghostbusters movies was lightning in a bottle that couldn't be replicated.
Yeah.
It's almost like it was a perfect storm that they shouldn't have done more with.
It's almost like it's really hard to make a good Ghostbusters movie, and they've only succeeded in doing it one time.
Yeah, right. But anyway, let's talk about this Beetlejuice sequel 30 years later. Anyway, yeah, they use a slowed down minor key version of
Deo. Which
Deo.
really sucks.
It sucks. The things that I am happy to see. I'm happy to see that they are still in the original house. I like that there is something to do with the little model town because that was such a big part of the original film. It makes me wonder.
Nice effing model.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis are going to show up for this.
I don't know, because Alec Baldwin has not been having the best time of it
lately.
Recently.
No, he hasn't. But if you go back and watch Beetlejuice himself is a fairly minor part of the film. It's really about Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis being two yuppie ghosts who just want people to not be in their house.
Yeah.
Dealing with bad roommates, essentially. So it makes me wonder about that. I'm glad that they have dealt with the gaping hole that was Jeffrey Jones in the best way possible. And by that, I mean they've killed his character off.
Which in this franchise almost doesn't mean a whole lot.
It doesn't mean a
but
whole
he's
lot,
not going to show up. Yeah.
No, I think he went to Super Hell.
Yeah.
The one where the ghost can't come back.
Double hell. There's no waiting room there.
Yeah. No. I sincerely hope this movie starts with Beetlejuice still sitting in the waiting room, finally getting his number called.
Oh, it will.
I hope that is the joke.
When I first heard it was Jenna Ortega being in it, I was like, "Oh, that's perfect." But now it feels like it's almost on the nose.
It's a little too on the nose. It would almost be more interesting if Lydia Dietz's daughter is either a normie or swings back the other direction and is like her weird avant-garde art parents.
Yeah.
So the other side is having to deal with.
Yeah, instead of it just being small
Lydia Dietz. Yeah.
And also, Winona looks exactly the same. Like, she has the same hair. Uh-huh. She's never changed her hair in 30 years.
Nope.
It wasn't a phase.
It's clearly not. Clearly not.
Beetlejuice looks great.
He does. He's got the voice.
Yeah.
It sounds great, looks great.
The one line in the trailer, the juice is loose, gotta laugh out of me.
That was pretty good. I was happy to read that Tim Burton is doing mostly as much practical effects and stop motion as possible.
Oh, good.
He actually said in an interview that a movie like this would not benefit from CG. It needs to be done. It needs to be handmade in order for it to be.
That's true. That's a lot. A lot of the character of the original movie comes from that stuff. And
absolutely,
it needs to be that way.
Absolutely, and I'm also a little concerned that Tim Burton. I don't know if he still has the juice. Pardon the pun, but the last couple of films that he's made have not been great.
He is not the rebel he once was. I think studios can count on him to do what they want now instead of being.
He's more of a jobber than he is.
He used to be. He used to be.
Now, that's not to say that he can't put his own flair on it every now and then again, he wants to. Sadly, it's almost kind of like Sam Raimi. I love Sam Raimi's stuff, but from years of working in the system. Yeah, he puts his snap zooms and stuff into it, but
Tim Burton doesn't have the edge he once did, I guess.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Beetlejuice It's not like it was my favorite movie growing up, but it was definitely part of the growing up process. I did enjoy it quite a bit.
I would say it is one of my more favorite movies of all time.
Okay, it's up there.
It's top 10 at least.
Gotcha. Okay. See, I wouldn't go top 10. I would maybe go top 25 for me, but it would not. Maybe top 50, but like, I don't think it reaches my top 10. But no, that makes. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's very up my alley.
It is. That is true. That's a good point. Yeah. I always liked Beetlejuice way more than Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah. Yeah, between the two, Beetlejuice is the better movie.
Yeah.
But they're both great movies. I love Edward Scissorhands, too.
Yeah. Yep.
I wouldn't put Edward Scissorhands in my top 10.
Right. Yeah, same here. All right, so there were some trailers that we could talk about. First one was the Furiosa Mad Max Cinematic Universe prequel.
That looks great. It looks
really
so cool.
Does. It really does.
It makes me want to watch Fury Road again.
It does. Yeah, same here. I think it's really interesting that they're expanding out beyond the Mad Max.
Yeah. Mad Max sans Mad Max.
Yeah. And if you watch some of the old Mad Max movies, he's barely the main character. He's just a guy that kind of drifts into
other people's stories.
So it makes sense that they can tell a movie completely devoid of Mad Max about Furiosa. I think it looks great.
And she was the most interesting part of Fury Road, so it makes sense for them to do a spinoff.
Yep. Everyone looks like they're having fun. Chris Hemsworth looks like he's having a blast.
Yeah, he looks like he's loving it just in the trailer alone. And he looks like he's doing a great job, too.
That too. Yeah. We were talking before when we were watching the trailer a little bit ago. You mentioned that not sure if Anya Taylor-Joy can do this kind of acting.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen her in like a pure action movie like this.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that she could do it.
Oh,
she's a great actress.
She's a great actress, but yeah, it's definitely something different for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be exciting to see how that turns out.
Yep. Yeah. I'm in. I'm for it.
Cause I like Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she's a great actress.
I do too.
A lot of the things she's done.
I do too. I liked her in. Well, I actually liked her Princess Peach. I thought. I mean, she was fine. She was fine as Princess Peach. Was that The Guest or The Menu or something like that?
Oh, yeah, she was good in that.
She was good in The Menu. I liked her in The Vavitch.
Yeah, I always forget that was her in The Vavitch. That's a great movie.
It's like her first film, yeah. The one about chess.
Yeah, I love Queen's Gambit. That was a great show.
Well. Yeah.
God, now I'm blanking on what it was. Oh, Last Night in Soho.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great movie.
I haven't watched that one.
I had heard that it was not good. And I had believed it because I didn't like Edgar Wright's movie before that Baby Driver.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't care for Baby Driver.
Baby Driver was just
so
okay.
I went into Last Night in Soho thinking like, I'm probably not going to like this. Mm-hmm. Actually loved it. Thought it was great.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Story.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I haven't watched that one. I do know what it's about, but I haven't watched it. But well, awesome. Were there other trailers? I'm trying to think.
There was the Suicide Squad anime.
Oh yeah, that one.
Suicide Squad Isekai.
Yeah, the one where it's basically the DC Suicide Squad characters go to some medieval fantasy anime land and shoot a bunch of werewolves.
Yeah, or something. I don't know. It looks fun enough.
It looks stylish. It looks interesting.
You know, I never watched any of the other DC, like Batman Ninja.
Oh, I never did either.
There's a couple of DC anime-inspired ones. I think there's a Catwoman one, too.
I think there is, yeah. No, I haven't watched them either, but I don't know. This one looks fine.
Yeah, and I mean, when it shows up on HBO Max, I might watch this.
Sure, why not?
Enough.
Yeah.
It's got Peacemaker in it. Why not?
Well, yeah. It is wild to me. I was just thinking about this the other day. It is wild to me how much of a breakout star Peacemaker the character has become. He shows up in multiple comics now. He has his own comic now. He's in almost every DC property. Like, he's right there front and center. And this is a character that was largely ignored for
and wears like a toilet
80s.
Seat thing on his head.
Yeah, he was a joke. They picked him because he was the throwaway character that no one would ever do anything with, and now he's one of the most. He's in Mortal Kombat for crying out loud, and he's great in Mortal Kombat.
It's a good fit.
Yeah.
Of all the characters that could show up in Mortal Kombat, there's not a much better fit than Peacemaker.
It's great. It's really great. So it kind of wild to me that,
And the end theme to the anime is done by a VTuber.
That's right. That's right.
One of the Hololive girls, Mori Calliope, the rapping Reaper one.
Okay, sure.
Which, I mean, it sounds like a good end theme. I don't know. Some of her music is good.
I'm not familiar enough with her music to really, but I mean, that last theme, it was interesting.
It fit.
It was fine.
And her label is with Warner Brothers, so that's how that happened.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Sure. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, speaking of Warner Brothers, they are working on another animated Cat in the Hat movie, which may or may not exist.
Maybe they'll make the whole movie and then write it off on their taxes. Nobody knows.
Who knows at this point?
Bill Hader is going to voice the cat, which he's a good voice actor.
If they let him improv.
Yeah. He'd probably be a better Cat in the Hat than Mike Myers was.
Myers? Yeah, that was a inspired choice.
Yeah.
Putting it nicely. Yeah, I always have room for more Seuss stuff.
Yeah, I feel like there's always some form of Cat in the Hat, something or other in the works.
And I mean, it is the one, that and the Grinch are the two that they could really do. I know they've done a Horton Hears the Who
and the they've done a Lorax.
They've done a Lorax, but like you can't do a full film about Green Eggs and Ham.
No. They did a Netflix series, but I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, like you can't do red fish, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
Oh no, that's not even a narrative.
No, it's not.
Can't do Hop on Pop.
Can't do Hop on Pop. The Starbelly Sneeches can't.
Maybe they could make something out of that.
Something, but not really. So Cat in the Hat's really kind of it. Sure. Again, it's Warner Brothers and it's animation and it's for kids, so there's a good chance it's going to get made and then shelved and never released.
Oh, speaking of Warner Brothers, I should have brought this up during the Check It Outs. I watched Wonka.
Oh,
and it was
why?
Actually, it wasn't bad.
That's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing it's okay.
Like, sure, it was like super safe and corporate and like,
unnecessary.
Unnecessary and like full of the most forced whimsy you've ever seen.
Sure.
But like, it was still fun and inoffensive and entertaining. Like, I can't say I was not entertained for the full 2 hours or whatever.
Was Timothée Chalamet able to be whimsical? Because he seems like just a very normal. He seems very normy.
Yeah, he was fine.
He was fine. Okay.
It wasn't a groundbreaking performance, but
sure.
It was good enough.
Okay. Sometimes good enough is just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take it.
The songs were good enough.
Sure.
If you watch Wonka, you will have an absolutely okay time.
We'll take it.
I didn't feel like I had wasted 2 hours of my life. Also, it's a major plot point that he cannot read.
Oh, really?
Willy Wonka is illiterate at the beginning of this film.
Interesting.
I thought that was a weird choice.
It's a weird choice. Yeah, not one I would have initially gone with, but
He was busy studying chocolate. He didn't learn how to read.
Fair enough. All right, we got some other things here. Let's talk about some negative stuff. Do you want to talk about Kotaku or Late Night with the Devil?
Well, Late Night with the Devil will be a quick one. I think I was going to hit that.
Yeah, so there is a independently made horror movie that's coming out. It actually has gotten pretty rave reviews for the people who have seen it, starring David Dalmakian. He was the Spot. Or not the Spot. He was...
No, that was Schwartzman.
That was Schwartzman. I'm talking about in Suicide Squad. He was Polka Dot Man.
Yeah, Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man. He's done some other stuff. But
one of the standout characters of that movie.
He's a good actor. Yeah, absolutely. And he's so this movie it's basically set in the 1970s on a live talk show where a guy basically is like debunking mystical stuff, and an actual possessed person is invited onto the show, and horror movie things happen.
Which is a great premise.
It's a great premise, and from the way it looks, the way it was filmed. They're using old film grain. They're using old techniques, 16 millimeter camera, that sort of thing. So it looks or at least they're mocking the 16 millimeter camera, that sort of thing. Looks really good. Unfortunately, as it was revealed, the producers decided to cut a few corners by making use of AI generated art.
The real devil in our times.
It super is, yeah. So they initially it was just like, well, it's just 3 like interstitial title cards that go up before commercial break. As it turns out, there's also quite a bit of set dressing that has also been AI generated.
That stinks.
And
hire
a real artist to do your stuff. And the argument that the producers and the actor Dalmakian has made online is that this movie was filmed pre-COVID. It's been sitting on a shelf for years. It was before AI was turned into... People made the full turn.
It's probably also before they knew all of the art is basically
being
stolen.
Stolen, yeah.
Because that's the way the AI stuff works. They have a big bank of art that they took off the internet without asking anyone.
Yeah.
And then they generate pictures from that.
Right.
So it's derivative of other people's art.
Everything that is AI generated is derivative of
assuming
other things.
Assuming that the model they used is using other people's art without permission, which 99.9% of it they do.
Right. So, my rebuttal of that argument is if it's been sitting on a shelf, you can go back in and edit it,
especially if they're title cards.
It's not going to change, it's not going to change anything. You just go back in. It's a digital file. You just go in, you snip it, you put a new thing in, and you go. That's all you got to do. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this film, because there's a lot of people online who scream about how much they hate AI art. And I tend to agree with them.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of AI art being used in any kind of monetarily...
I'm 100% against it unless you've trained the model on your own
art
property and art. Then maybe that's okay. But even then, you're gonna generate
junk,
soulless junk. Yeah.
That's the only way to get ethically sourced AI art.
But even then, your output is still not gonna be.
It's not gonna be as good as actually just doing art.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how many people. Now that we have, it's a good movie that has done this bad thing, are people going to look past it and go see the movie because it's a good movie, or are they going to boycott it and have a good movie flounder because they did a bad thing? I'm curious to see what the outcome is going to be.
See, I would have been very interested in this before this came out, but now I'm not.
I was interested in it, and I'm not a horror movie guy. I don't, it's not my scene, but it
sounds absolutely like a horror movie I would have been excited to see, but not now.
Yeah.
If I watch it, it will be when it's on a streaming service where it's already been done and paid for.
Yes. Yes, it's going to be well past its collecting of metrics. Yeah. Same here if I do end up watching it. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because it does look like a really good movie.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Speaking of movies of questionable quality.
Yes.
Apparently, Margot Robbie is producing or is attached to a film based on the video game The Sims. The virtual dollhouse.
That seems like a derivative of Barbie.
Yeah, I don't see how you could make this movie in any way and not have it aping the same themes, general themes and concepts of the Barbie movie.
Unless they do what people initially thought the Barbie movie was going to be about, where it was a vapid nothing about nothing.
Yeah.
If it has no message. Because if you do a Sims movie and you want it to have a message, it's going to be the same message as the Barbie movie, essentially.
And it's going to be super meta.
Yeah.
Like the Barbie movie.
Like the Barbie movie. Unless they play it completely straight, where you just have the actors wandering around a set and...
Will they speak in Simlish in this movie? Will it be an entirely Simlish film?
I imagine it's going to be English speaking, but any music is going to be done in Simlish. That's my guess.
I think they should at least start it in Simlish and then have some sort of
translator or
or device, some sort of narrative device, so where we, the audience, then get to hear it in English.
Yeah.
Even then, though, if they wanted to be really brave, they would do the whole movie in Simlish.
Subtitled. Yeah.
Even just pictographs above their.
Oh,
the
that would be
actors'
kind
heads.
of fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Go full the artist silent movie, but pictographs.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
They won't do it.
No,
That's
no,
way
no, no.
too out there for them
Yeah.
to even touch.
Yeah.
But that would be like the most interesting way to do it, I would think.
Yeah. I'm not totally ready to write this off yet because again, when we heard that they were going to do a Lego movie, people were going, Lego movie, there's no plot to that. And it's a pretty good movie. And Lego movie's a good movie.
There would be
Barbie movie, there's no plot to it. Well, as it turns out, yeah, there is.
There would be no Barbie movie if it weren't for the Lego movie.
Oh, 100%.
And they're both great films.
Yes, so I'm not ready to write this off yet. However,
It seems a little on the nose right after Barbie.
Yeah.
And like,
I agreed.
I hope they come up with something because, I mean, Margot Robbie usually does some pretty great work.
Yeah, although she's only producing. I don't think she's starring in this.
Oh, well, good.
So I think and it might just be that her production company is giving them money and she has no involvement. I don't know. But
I
we'll
love The
see.
Sims. I think that's one of the better video games that's ever
Oh yeah,
existed.
I love The
Yeah.
Sims. Yeah, I've spent many hours killing time in The Sims. There's got to be a scene where someone gets in a pool and then the ladder disappears.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
somebody gets shut in a room with no windows
And
or
a bunch
doors.
of fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be a part where a house burns down because somebody was cooking
An egg too long.
Yeah.
And then everything bursts into flame in like squared blocks.
Oh, they got to play the scary, like, your house is being robbed music, and then the robber in stripes and the domino mask comes out.
Oh, for sure. Will Wright show up in
Oh, he should.
the Sims movie?
He's a recognizable dude.
He
It
is
would be-
recognizable enough.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Well, I mean, if it gets like as meta as the Barbie movie, he definitely will.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, last thing, and we can't talk about it for long because we're running short on time, but I mentioned the Kotaku thing briefly earlier, so we should probably swing back to it.
Yeah.
What's going on over there?
Famous video games blog site Kotaku, which is one I've gone to for years.
We've pulled a lot of our news articles. It's one of the main ones that we look at every week to pull stuff for the show.
Recently, the editor-in-chief, and they've gone through a lot of shakeups in the editing department lately, but the editor-in-chief resigned because somebody high up at their parent company that I forget what it's called told them, less news, more guides. You guys have to write 50 guides, like video game guides, a week now, which is ridiculous. That's not what the site was about beforehand.
No. And I understand the reasoning reasoning behind it, because guides get a lot of SEO traction, a lot of people searching online. How do I do a thing? Well, a guide will pop up.
And and first, for a minute, I was like, do people actually do that? They don't go straight to GameFAQs? But then I realized I do that.
I do that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't go to Kotaku. I never click on Kotaku's guides because they're usually trash.
They usually don't show up in SEO first.
No, not
anyway.
really. Yeah. But it's just kind of a shame that they're deciding to get rid of actual journalism in exchange for fluff that, let's be honest, an AI can and probably at some point will write.
Well, that amount of work is impossible, and for it to also be accurate,
it's impossible.
Not going to happen, and it doesn't.
And those guides are going to overlap. Yeah. It's going to be the same thing over and over again.
And the thing is, it doesn't matter if it's accurate as long as it gets the click too. I'm sure.
That sucks.
Yeah. It's a real shame to see what used to be such a prominent outlet for video game news be turned into a guide mill.
It's a shame. And there's a lot of websites that are starting to go, the news websites that are going the way of the dinosaur. They're, years ago, Comics Alliance, which was basically this, but for comic books, before it was shut down completely, they were going less news articles, more, hey, here's a bunch of covers.
Oh, okay.
Variant covers. Here's an entire article about variant covers. for a comic that's coming out 6 months down the road.
Wow.
Because that is,
People want to see those covers.
Gets into Google image search, and that's a click, and that's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
The internet is turning into just an SEO mill.
And it sucks.
Where, nothing will be written by a person, and all of your news will come out of a corporate talking head. Every news will come out of some form of Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, it's
Eat it straight from the company or don't get it
not
at all.
And that's a shame. That's a shame. All right, well, let's go ahead and end things for now.
On that note.
On that happy, joyous note.
Get your news from Nerd Overload or don't get it at all.
Don't tell them that because they won't get it at all. You have been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com, as well as social media links, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, Patreon. The YouTube is coming back. It's not up there yet. I'm working on it. The YouTube is coming back, and it will have actual content on it, believe it or not.
You can send us an email at staff@nerdoverload.com. You can leave us a message on the Nerd Overload hotline. The number for that's 419-561-5556. You can even send a text message if you don't want to leave a voice message.
That's great. Yeah, we'll take texts.
You have to do more than just say hello, though, because I did get one of those the other day.
That just said hello. Okay,
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. You can find the show on different podcast catchers, the main ones, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, as long as it still exists. It's actually shutting down here pretty soon, so I'm going to have to change my spiels pretty soon. Finally, I want to thank Parker for helping us out with finding news for the show, and David Pencil for the intro and outro. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
This one's for you, Morph.